Well, hello there. My name is Ime Shu, and I'm representing My Allergy Advocate now on WordPress.com, which will be moving to its own website. I'm super excited about this in August 2016 as myallergyadvocate.com. And there I am all about making food fun again. Go check out my blog when you get a chance because I have both recipes and really cool things about lifestyle tricks and tips to help you gain control of what you are eating, especially if you have food allergies, food intolerances, sensitivities, or you have an autoimmune disease where you've discovered that by changing your diet and lifestyle, you can heal your body. You can use food as medicine. Well, I decided today that it would probably be easy for me to show you by telling and demonstrating a little bit what I eat on a regular basis. This is not a meal plan that I am designing for you. In fact, that isn't even in the scope of my practice to do that. In fact, nobody's supposed to be doing that except for licensed nutritionists. But I can give you some idea of what I eat in terms of what I use to heal my body since I have celiac disease and over 300 food intolerances and sensitivities that have been properly documented using testing. So let me give you a rundown of what it looks like on a day-to-day basis. I am a triathlete. I'm training for a half Ironman in June of this year and also a full Ironman in August. So I pretty much work out every day. I get a rest day per week, although that rest day may have some certain activities. And so what I highly recommend that you do before you even look at things like micronutrients and macronutrients and getting that all in balance to figure out what you need to eat is to go and get some kind of testing to find out two things. One, you want to find out what your metabolic resting rate is, what your body needs at rest just to keep your weight at the exact same place and to keep everything functioning even beyond weight, just in terms of what calories need to go in so that there isn't a change. And that test will be pretty accurate if it's done with a metabolic cart. So you need to go to some kind of facility, usually a physical therapist's office that offers this kind of testing, or it could be with a university that has sport medicine testing of this kind. And you'll get the resting rate first, so it'll just tell you basically what you need to eat per day. So for example, I found out that I need about 1,538 calories per day just to stay exactly where I'm at. So if I were interested in losing some weight after I have that number, I can play with going a little bit under what my daily need is, also calculating then my activity. So the second part of the test involves then either running on a treadmill or cycling on a bicycle while this test is being run, and you have a cannula that sits over your nose and mouth that basically doesn't let any air escape, and you're going to breathe through that. And it gives data to their computer that it's hooked up to tell you when there's a crossover point, meaning the crossover is measuring when you efficiently burn fat over burning carbohydrates. And this number is important because it'll tell the practitioner exactly what your body is doing in terms of what kind of burn it's getting off of these two main fuels, carbohydrates versus fat. And what you want to be looking for is that crossover point, or if you don't have a crossover point, to find out why you don't have one. And once you have that information, it'll give you much more resource to find out what exactly you should eat. So in my case, we discovered that pretty much my diet was already very, very low carbohydrate. And the reason why is that I'm very reactive to almost all grains except for rice. So the main carbohydrate that I was eating was rice, and I just don't like eating a lot of it all the time. And so my diet had become over the years very, very low in carbohydrates. I'm not one of those people that can go out and have a gluten-free pizza because most of them are made with another grain that's gluten-free, but I still can't have it. Or have an emulsifier, which I also can't have. Or have some ingredient that's on the pizza that I can't have, such as an allium, onions, or garlic. So I learned that I had to make these things at home and make them with just brown rice, pretty much, or tapioca, or coconut flour. And I didn't really want to have these very much. So again, my diet was very low in carbohydrates, and it was very high naturally in protein and fat because that's what I needed for a nutrient dense eating because I wasn't getting it from other sources because of my food allergies and food intolerances. And so it was already naturally going in that direction. So let me give you an idea of what I eat as a triathlete, which might be different from another triathlete just based on what was going on in my resting metabolic rate and also my active metabolic rate or metabolic efficiency. So on Monday, if I'm exercising, I'm going to have typically for my breakfast 2 small pieces of bacon, an egg, something that's called a paleo wrap. It's made out of coconut, a small bowl of fruit, which might be 2 strawberries, 5 blackberries, and a very, very small handful of blueberries. Or I might skip that if I don't feel like having the extra carbs, because that's what fruit is. I might have an eighth of a cup of rice if I want that, if it's going to be a particularly longer amount of exercising I'm doing that day. And I'll have a cup of coffee with 2 tablespoons of full fat coconut milk in it. I don't do dairy. And you can pretty much lather, rinse, and repeat that breakfast for my entire week, except one day of the week. I will break it up and I won't be having any pork product in the morning. I might just have an egg, or I might do a small amount of goat yogurt. So, one dairy product that I seem to be okay with, but I can't have it very often. And I'll measure that out as a cup of that and put some fruit on it. And that's my carbs and my dairy for the week in that particular meal. And everything else stays the same. I may just change up that protein a little bit if I don't feel like having bacon, and I do that for the extra fat. I don't do it because I really love bacon, but that combination of the egg and bacon seems to give me a lot of fuel, and I can go and exercise for 3 hours on that and not need to refuel. So that's my preference, but I might mix it up and do something like 2 small slices of beef jerky shredded up that I make on my own dehydrator. Or I might do a little bit of leftover chicken breast, or I might do the eggs with a small amount of salmon. But I'm pretty much keeping the other components of the breakfast exactly the same. Why would I do that? One, it's super easy. If you're thinking about batch cooking for a week, I can cook all of this stuff for 7 days, stick it in bins, except for the eggs. I don't like to do those ahead of time. And just have this food available and measure out my food. So I kind of know that when I measure it out and stick it on the plate, I'm going to get X amount of exercise or burn off of this really comfortably, and my stomach doesn't react to these foods. And so I just keep it simple, stupid. That might just sound really boring to people. And I want to help you with that part for this video that I'm making for you. I'm going to be honest with you and say that yes, it does get a little bit boring. But I'll tell you that I would rather take boring over what I was doing before, which is hit and miss. Some mornings having a really great time, having high energy, quiet stomach, and other mornings just feeling like my guts are going to come apart because either it wasn't the right food or it wasn't the right amount, and I put stress on it by exercising, and something didn't quite work because some foods just digest at different rates. Even if I woke up at 4:30 and I wasn't exercising until 6 and I got my breakfast under 5 a.m., that might not have been enough time for that particular food to digest. So I get up early, I eat the same food that I know has the same outcome. And I don't base my choices then on oh, I really feel like doing this. What I'm basing my choices, what do I want to do for that day? And how do I want to feel? And you know what? It feels really good. So, my point here is don't copy me. Find the foods that work for you. Document those things down like I did. Document how you feel afterwards, and you will start to see a pattern over time of what foods makes your body happy and what foods definitely don't. Avoid the ones that don't, and then find out why. If they're essential foods, there might be a reason why it's not working, and you can incorporate it a different way by, say, combining the foods differently or waiting for more digestion to happen or eliminating the food for a time to see if there's actually an intolerance going on, and then work with your practitioner to find out what's going on with that. That's what I would highly recommend you to do. Work with that provider, find out why that food isn't working for you, and then do what we do at My Allergy Advocate. You'll find a workaround. So I just want to say to all you hungry minions out there, keep working at it, find the things that work, and make food fun again.